She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
Welcome to the Twin Peaks podcast.
Damn good coffee. And hot. Would everyone please take a seat?
Welcome everyone to the Twin Peaks podcast. My name's Matt.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Brad.
I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Oh, we all feel so rusty. I felt really rusty doing
It does
that.
feel rusty. It's been a while. It's alright though. Robin's an old hat at podcasts as well.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing an old hat.
It's all he has. It's all he has.
He's wearing.
I use it to collect change.
Okay, so Robin is from the... I'll let you explain. What do you want?
Yeah, you know, if you want to admit you have no idea where I'm from, that's okay.
You're from the Fisher cast.
No, it's just Fisher Cast.
That's it? No.
Yeah.
Redemption cast.
Excuse me, it's Fisher Cast to 6 Feet Under retrospective. And that's all about 6 Feet Under. Redemption Cast, which is an angel, an intro cast, an angel intro cast, spin-off potential cast. And I just launched a new project called the Top Bunk Podcast.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one, actually.
Yeah, it's a discussion between me and my friend Len. And we get together on Tuesday nights and, you know, watch TV shows because he doesn't have cable. and we just pick a different topic each week to talk about. And I just released the first episode. It's all about ghosts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So today we're going to review the Dale Cooper autobiography. Official title, The Autobiography of FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper, My Life, My Tapes. That's a lot of words. Robin, you've read it before, right?
Yeah, I read that and the diary back when Peaks was still on the air or just got off the air or whatever, back when I was like a teenager. So yeah, there was a lot of really explicit stuff in both books that I was like, yeah, thanks for buying this for me, Mom and Dad.
You were probably a little bit like a young Dale Cooper, just a horn dog that wanted to bump everything.
Yes, I was climbing in ceiling tiles above the health class. Actually, I never shared this on the podcast before, but when I was just about starting college, I was inspired by Twin Peaks to keep an audio journal.
Oh, nice.
So I'd be walking around with a tape recorder, talking, and I think that was like my pre-podcasting days. Like I needed to podcast, but I didn't know how yet.
Wow, you were destined to do this.
Yes, exactly. I saw a giant. He put a microphone in my hand and a tape recorder. No.
Yeah, what did you guys overall think of learning about Dale Cooper?
I didn't know that it was feasibly possible for me to like Dale Cooper any less.
I was wondering if this was going to turn you around and bring you back onto his side.
No! He's awful!
Explain.
He's the worst! Oh, he's the most insufferably stupid young child.
It's like they just took Cooper as a child as like just a miniature version of older Cooper.
Yeah, I pictured all of his voice coming through, his adult voice, even for the child him. Because he speaks in the exact same tone.
I even pictured him like a little boy in a suit.
Yeah.
He's 13. He comes off like an 8-year-old, maybe. He is a very stupid child.
I think he might have autism of some kind.
Probably.
because
Probably does have
because he's
Asperger's.
weirdly obsessive about certain things, and those things he's really good at. Like, I know you don't like his methods usually, Brad, but there's a few times in here where he actually solves a crime legitimately by looking at clues, and he's like spot on.
There's
every
a lot
time.
of other times though where he's not at all.
He never did find that bicycle, did he?
That's true. The bike was stolen by the 24th Street Gang or whatever.
And what about where he has to look up the word sanctuary?
Yeah.
He's 13 years old.
Caitlin, what did you think?
It was very entertaining, but some of it was disturbing. Like I was not expecting a lot of it, but he's led a very strange life his whole life. I thought he would have just gotten like quirkier as he got older, but from the very beginning, he's a bizarre character.
Yeah.
His whole family's pretty bizarre too, though. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
His dad's awesome. Moon
I
map-
love his dad.
Moon maps. His dad gets married at like the slightest whim. I don't know. How should we go through it? Should we like look at our notes chronologically, or
Beginning to end,
not everything?
everything.
How many pages of notes do you have, Mel?
I have like 28 pages.
28 pages.
But it's double spaced.
Awesome.
A lot of it, because I write really messy when I take notes.
So Dale Cooper's lifelong love affair with recording his own voice. Actually, wait. On the back of it, it calls him. I think it calls him an audiophile on the back of the book. But yeah. So he got his first recorder at age 13, and it was a ridiculous thing that was like huge. And he had to wear it on his back, and it's got like reels of tape.
I was just saying, I love how he's like documenting how he's trying to make it out of the house while still attached to a long cord.
Yes.
I tried to look up a picture of this on the internet, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know if it's a real...
Type of recorder.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked up the brand and stuff, but I couldn't find it.
Oh. Yeah, could be made up.
I was curious.
So yeah, he had an extension cord he called the Tether of Life. Which is kind of a childish thing to call it, but that's that Dale Cooper quirk that we all love.
And do you guys really believe that he's 5'3" and he can jump 4'6" high? You guys believe that? That's what he says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he has asthma when he's a child as well, and there's not much mention of that later in life. Can you grow out of asthma?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you can get better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I love the tests that he puts himself under, and the first one he does is a urine test.
Mm-hmm.
All those tests, a lot of them seem so stupid, and you have to... The way he talks about things, he doesn't seem like a normal, I don't know, teenager or young adult. But then when he describes what he does, he seems very much just like a normal college or adolescent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought Brad would appreciate those tests because they're all in the hopes of finding out ways to save time so he can get more done in a day.
But they're terrible. And also, like, he's like, when just jumping ahead to like the when he's trying to stay awake,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 48 hours and he's having crazy hallucinations.
After 2 days, yeah.
Yeah, listen, as a person who is very prone to hallucinations from sleep deprivation, anyone can make it 48 hours.
Yeah.
You get into the 3.5 day mark, that's when you start maybe having some slight hallucinations. Trust. I know it well.
I think I've actually done those tests myself, like, as a teenager on summer vacation. And, yeah, I think I probably made it 2 days, but I don't remember seeing leprechauns. I just remember being really, really tired.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
Maybe we should just stop the discussion right now, Brad.
I like having
You like
conflicting
you
views.
like the hate.
Yes.
I liked him when he was like a teenager trying to hook up with all these girls.
Yeah.
That was fine. But it was like every time we would have like an awkward break, because this is a horribly written book, where he disappears for a large period of time and there's no documentation.
Yeah.
He always came back worse. Every time he came back crazier and more horrifically awful.
I hated those breaks. I thought, I don't know, it was like,
cheap.
Yeah, it was very cheap. It was just like, okay, is that supposed to be mysterious? You know, like, oh, he wandered off and no one heard from him, yeah.
Then he comes back all changed, and
Yeah.
you don't have to see what happened. You don't get.
Sorry, I'd like to see that. If isn't that the point of the
truth
book?
of the matter is, there is no good explanation
Yeah.
for Dale Cooper because he's a terrible character, and like if you did see it, you would realize that there is nothing there, and they cannot make it interesting.
Did you speculate at all what could have happened to him? Like, I think at one point he goes away, and he's all very practical and stuff, and then he comes back from something, and he's all into like meditation and trances and healing your spirit and stuff.
I imagine that he just goes away to these random towns or remote places and just talks to people and just invades their lives and tries to get into every little detail of their lives and their minds and bothers them to death, and that's how he runs into so much evil in the world. Just people get sick of him, and
Yeah, evil seems to follow Dale around.
He also sees like the leaps in logic that he makes to like, oh, this is clearly a pure, real, tangible evil in the world. Whoa, calm down. What the hell are you basing that on?
It's his feelings, it's his intuition, but for the fiction we know he's right because Bob exists, but
Yeah, but he's right for the wrong reasons.
yeah.
So you think he was right by just by accident?
Yes, absolutely. There's no way you can connect the dots.
Pure coincidence.
Ever since he was a child, he's been thinking about sex 90% of the time is what I took away from this. I didn't realize that, like, before reading it, this is my second time reading it, but before that I didn't realize it would be almost, not quite as graphic, but almost as graphic as the Laura book sometimes.
It's so funny because with Laura it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Coop it's like, I mean, obviously a teenage boy thinks these things, but, you know, why would it be written like that? I don't know.
It is the only appealing part of the book, though. It was the only thing I enjoyed was him chasing after these girls.
Well, I love how, like, really it's like, if you're interested in Dale Cooper in any way, you really should turn the other way because something bad will happen. Like the fireworks, for instance.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, you mean if you're a girl and you want to be with Dale Cooper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, half the girls that he was interested in, they were all crazy.
They were crazy to begin with, yeah.
Yeah. Like Marie.
His
and
childhood
Lena.
friend Marie.
Yeah, Marie.
Oh gosh.
Marie was kind of like a Laura Palmer herself.
I compared her to Jenny Gump.
It is like, so she starts off, she's trying to get Dale Cooper's attention. He's an idiot and cannot pick up on it. Then
Then she gets into the hippie thing.
Then she becomes an awesome, hot, foxy hippie girl.
Then she ODs and gets into religion.
And then she gets ODs and she's a super Jizo. Oh. And it's too late. It's too late. Forget it, Dale Cooper. Do not even try.
But even though she's way into that, she still compromises her morals at one point, and like Robin said, they make love in the forest and are bombarded by fireworks.
And then she dies shortly after.
I would call it blowjob making love, man.
Oh, is that what that was? Getting things mixed up. He makes love in the forest a few times.
I love the short little obsession with the girl Anne, and then it turns out she's a major slut. And like is sleeping with everybody but him.
Yes, and there was also the girl who he met, these two lesbian hippies, and stayed with them for a while, and then one of them ended up being his substitute teacher for a while.
Oh, that was awesome! That was so great. He's hitchhiking in a van with hot hippie girls.
They make him drive while they have sex.
Yes.
Yep.
under like a sex pyramid of power.
I should have made a movie out of this book. Could you
That was
imagine the
awesome.
ridiculousness?
Wow.
And then he finds out it's his new teacher. Awesome.
There's the girl who was way into arson, whose mom tried to
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was other ones. There was Robin at the FBI training,
Yeah.
but she wasn't too crazy.
That was like the typical, like, he's met his match. Like, they're both, like, shooting together and stuff. And they realize they can never be together because
Ugh.
they'd just be too awesome.
Because. They realize they can't be together because.
Yeah.
I guess he has to meet his one true love that he's going to spend an entire 24 hours with.
Yeah, he could, like, when Carolyn came in, he was like, oh, she's a remarkable woman. I'm like, what makes her so remarkable? Like, but there's no evidence of her being remarkable at all.
He never really explained why he likes her.
Yeah. She's just hot.
And it was like, they were together for a day. Like, in the TV show, you get this feeling that, oh, wow, they were having this illicit love affair for all this time. No, it was a day.
Yeah.
It was May 1st. That's how long the relationship lasted.
And it was all planned by Wyndham Earle.
What a shitty plan.
Well, he was insane.
How did he know that Cooper would fall in love with Carolyn?
No one can resist Carolyn.
Because he's a genius. He knew. He just knew.
Yes.
Like, all of these relationships were so quick. The whole Wyndham Earle thing, I got no sense that they had any real connection or friendship at all.
No, he was like, yeah, Wyndham's my best friend / good friend. I'm like, how does that even happen? He was crazy from the moment you met him.
Yeah. And it was obvious that Wyndham was the person behind the kidnapping and killing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is such a terrible detective.
Well, he did figure it out with one of his feelings, though.
One of them.
Shall we just read Claire's feedback right now and just, like, see what conversation points it brings up?
Yeah.
Sure.
This literally just arrived. Claire, like, sped read the entire book within
Just
2 hours
right?
this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within 2 hours.
Something like that.
I know.
I read it practically all today, and it took me more than 2 hours.
She
I read it last night. It took about 3.
Yeah, she said she's read it before, so she was just skimming it. Alright. Well, there's a lot here. From Claire Laffar. Hello, lovely peakery. Okay, actually, yeah, Brad, you read these.
Oh, yeah. Alright.
I forgot the tradition, it's always you.
Almost got out of it. Hello, peakery people. Just guessing.
Here it is.
Where's here?
Oh, I sent it back to her, sorry.
Back.
Here you go, Claire.
You enjoyed sending this, didn't you? Okay. Oh. Menzies. Oh, it's you.
I sent it back to her and she says, that's the one.
Hello, lovely peaky peeker peeps.
It works if you do it slow, yeah.
Hello, lovely peeky peeper peeps. Gotta get one last tongue twister in there. So I just finished rereading the book and have put some of my thoughts below, as usual. Sorry about the epic length.
No,
That's what I said.
Oh.
Gross.
I'll stop now.
Young Dale disguising the tape recorder in a backpack full of potatoes makes me laugh out loud every time. It's such a silly image.
Yes.
Worst detective ever. His relationship with Marie in the book is both inappropriate as hell and really sad. She tied him to a bed. There's nothing wrong with that. Why can't kids tie each other to a bed?
He was only practicing his knots, too.
Oh, he's so the worst. I hate him.
So do you just hate him because he's like so clueless about the world around him? Is that why?
Yes. He's 13. He's not 5.
Yes, but he's autistic, Brad. He can't help it.
First of all, we don't know that he's autistic. We're just assuming that.
That's true. But sometimes he didn't strike me as he was, like, just unaware, but more, he just didn't care.
He's totally got Asperger's. There's no ways.
Well, he's got a deep longing to learn about everything.
Yes.
Except everything.
Yes.
Except he learns it wrong.
Except he doesn't. I like that they mentioned Dale's mom, not mom, also has psychic dreams. Both she and Dale seem to dream about Bob, and she also dreams about birds. We also get to hear about another contributing factor to Dale's fear of birds. If I witnessed a bird being chopped up in an air vent, I'd be traumatized too.
Oh yes, didn't it like smack him in the head?
It smacked him in the head, got stuck in his head, and then the hardware store owner took a broom handle and flung it in the air vent.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, his mother's awful as well. I don't like her.
What do you like about his dad so much?
He's like a cool, laid-back guy. He's just having a good time. He's like, don't. He's very just relaxed. Don't worry about all this. Don't listen to anybody. Follow your own way. He's like, I like him.
Making moon maps.
Making moon maps? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to make a moon map? Getting pissed off at Mount Rushmore? Come on.
Yeah.
He's great. The early mentions of a man with no ear remind me of Blue Velvet. I'm wondering if it was an intentional reference by Scott Frost.
I don't remember the man with no ear.
The first creepy happening of Blue Velvet.
No, in this book.
Oh, okay.
Where
I don't remember that
It
either.
might have been when he went with his uncle Al there to gamble.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how his uncle teaches him how to count cards, and he doesn't realize it's cheating until like into his 20s.
Exactly.
He
didn't even realize it then.
cheating.
Yeah. They seem to think it's cheating. I've been kicked out.
So tell me again, guys, how you don't think doesn't have Asperger's?
I love that we're having to make him an excuse for what's wrong with him.
He totally does, though. I've known people with that. They're exactly like him.
Dale's first crush was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl named Anne. Interesting, though I'd prefer if she was a blue-eyed brunette named Tawdry R. Auden. That would be
Awesome.
Tawdry.
he really did have as much relationship with Annie as he did with any of these other women.
Yeah.
They all last approximately 24 hours.
Yes.
I find the line, "She was just here after Dale's mom dies," heartbreaking.
Sad
Yeah.
face.
They make waterproof Bibles?
That's weird.
The shenanigans with the ring are pretty cool, mirroring Laura waking up holding the ring in Firewalk with Me.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he wakes up with the ring on his finger, the ring that the giant steals later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if that happened to you, Brad, what would you conclude?
I certainly wouldn't conclude anything magical happened.
That's why you're not an FBI agent.
Well, there's no reason to think that. Oh, a ring got on my finger. It sure is strange, but there's no reason to jump into magic.
I know.
Yeah, you have to believe in magic to be in the FBI.
Do you believe in magic?
Yeah.
I never quite thought of the FBI as a force that fights evil before.
I don't think the FBI does either, just Dale
Yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah. It's,
And maybe Gordon.
how did they let them in?
Hee hee, I love the fact that he was rejected as a knife thrower by a small traveling circus. I actually learned to throw knives when I was a kid.
Really? What for?
I just had a cousin that somehow learned to throw knives and taught me.
Cool.
Nice.
Can you still do it?
I don't think so. I think I tried when I was a teenager and I had lost much of my knife throwing skill.
You know it could come in handy. You might want to learn again.
I need to get back on that.
Yeah.
When Dale
you
found
join
that-
my zombie apocalypse club
Oh, yes.
starting today, I'm forming it.
When Dale found that freshly sharpened pencil laying ominously in the alley, did Brad immediately suspect that the weird whittling guy from Starbucks was the culprit? Listen, guys, you may not know this, but a few months ago, I chronicled on Twitter the antics of a person in a Barnes & Noble sharpening a pencil with a pocket knife onto the ground.
That video
was-
was super creepy.
It was tragic and terrifying, and he was super creepy. And he was also transcribing a book, which is bullshit. So, I did think about that. When Dale and Andy had sex, he started thinking about dolphins.
What?
My mind immediately flashed back to the infamous showgirl sex scene.
Explain this sex scene because we haven't seen Showgirls.
What happened in this sex scene?
Oh my! You guys have to see it.
Oh.
Oh, it's Kyle MacLachlan and Elizabeth Berkley, and they're in a swimming pool, and something bizarre is happening.
Oh.
You're not supposed to have sex in a swimming pool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be bad.
Well, you're not supposed to buck like a bronco either, but it happened.
Oh.
It's amazing.
It's really the greatest sex scene of all film. It's hilarious. So good. The running theme throughout the book that the females in Dale's life, his mom, Mary, Betty, and Caroline, keep dying, and he can't do anything to stop it from happening, is a nice, if unsubtle, detail that fits in with his obsession about the Laura Palmer case. Also, he's vowed to never let his guard down again because of personal weakness after Robin is almost killed. Thankfully, not by Burge.
Thankfully, not Burge. Not Robin Burge.
Okay, sorry.
That's my name.
Yeah, I put a bye there. I was like, wait, why would Robin kill someone?
Cannot be another person named Robin.
Thankfully, Robin, you weren't killed. It's interesting. But I always felt that it would be better for Dale to make after Caroline was killed. Dale went crazy after only 2 days without sleep. Amateur. Amateur hour for reals. Dale's entry in February 1977, that evil does have a face, is pretty chilling. I think the fact that you will get all these comedic entries for a while and then something completely dark and different really helped the book evoke the tone of the show.
Yeah.
I was questioning that. I was like, what was that all about? And they didn't. Did they ever even come back to say what the heck he was talking about? I mean,
They did. Later on in the book, he brought up that he only saw evil 3 times, and that was when he was a kid, and then in a village while he was traveling, and then I think with Wyndham Earl.
but he wasn't specific about what he was
No,
writing
he
about.
just said that he was traveling.
It's that feeling that he gets.
It's just a feeling that he got.
I think it's all referring back to the Black Lodge kind of evil thing.
Mhm.
It's following him around his whole life. He had a date with Destiny in Twin Peaks.
Mm.
I really wish they didn't make it so clear that Diane is his secretary. It would have been great if the entries just suddenly started being addressed to Diane without any explanation.
That would have made him crazier.
Oh, I'm still not sure Diane's real.
Did you guys enjoy that date they had?
With the duck?
The duck, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think much happened from that, really.
No, not much.
Oh, except that Cooper is a horrible person who, after 10 years, still doesn't know Diane's last name.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it in the Laura Palmer book, like when they were hitting like all of the characters. Like we have a second where we introduce Dr. Jacoby and all these. You know, at the last minute we get to all the characters that we have to hit. This book is so much worse at hitting all of the roadmaps that we have to hit, and it's just awfully written. It's terrible. This is an awful book. But an awful person.
You really didn't like it, did you?
I hated this book.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I felt like towards the end there, I was like, finally, here we go, and then I wasn't enjoying it as much anymore. I don't know. I like, like a mention of Albert here and there,
Yeah, Dennis.
But if all you want is fan service, I mean, you're not gonna...
It is a fan service book.
It is a fan service book, yeah.
All right, let me get back to this email. I love that Dale analyzes the bureau psychiatrist that is analyzing him.
That was kind of mean. He outed the guy as gay.
Yeah, and then the guy tried to kill himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cooper doesn't care.
No. Only the truth matters in this case.
He drove that guy to suicide.
Mission accomplished.
The whole deal about the old man seeing something in Dale that scared him so much that he killed himself is creepy as hell.
What was that one about?
Is that the guy that brought him to his apartment and his apartment was full of papers and it went up in flames?
No, this was the old man that was going to teach him chess, like he taught Wyndham Earl chess.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Dale had a chicken head on his door, and then the guy found out the guy had hung himself.
Right.
We never really found out why.
I mean, I'm guessing it's because he saw that he was going to become Bob, and he realized it was all his fault because he taught Wyndham Earl chess, which led to Wyndham Earl being evil. I don't know.
I think he taught him more than chess, is what I'm getting.
It unlocked something inside him that was dark and evil, and eventually took him over and led to a really, really lamely plotted event where Wyndham Earl disappeared. I hate it!
Yes, when Wyndham Earl disappeared, it's implied that what? he had some sort of confrontation with Black Lodge entities.
Well, the thing is, okay, there's this whole bit, and it's like they keep finding these bodies, and like the hands had been severed, and they'd all been killed the same way, and Wyndham Earl is also missing.
Yeah. Were those connected in reality at all?
I think Wyndham Earl killed them.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's the most obvious thing in the world.
It is. It's really obvious. I don't know why nobody caught it.
And then all of a sudden they find Wyndham Earl, and he's fine.
Yeah.
And those killings stop.
Oh, yeah.
And he's kind of lost some memory, and he doesn't remember where he was, except he says really weirdly ridiculous things under hypnosis that make him sound super guilty. And Dale Cooper just can't figure it out.
Really sad.
Stop trying to make me hate Cooper.
I can't
love
help
Cooper.
it. I can't help it. I like Dale Cooper chasing girls when he's a teenager, and that's the only Dale Cooper I like.
What did he say? He had one quote where he was like, right as he was getting into the FBI, he's like, oh, I feel like I found my purpose in life now, and instead of thinking about sex hourly, I find myself only thinking about it 3 or 4 times a day. And now that I have this FBI thing to go towards. He's a horn dog.
The mentions of Gordon, Dennis, and Albert are fun. It would have been great to get Philip, Sam, and Chet mentioned too, but as this was pre-Fire Walk with Me, the characters hadn't really been established. Which brings me to... I'm not sure if I prefer the book version of the Teresa Banks investigation or the film. Logically, it makes more sense for Dale to be investigating, but I also really enjoy the Desmond Stanley stuff from the film. I like the idea that each agent has a girl that he was assigned to investigate. One of the reasons that I like the theory that Judy was Philip Jeffries' Laura.
What'd you guys think of that? This version of the Teresa Banks? The only things that were the same really were the town, Deer Meadow, and the name of the sheriff, Cable.
Maybe it's because I like Cooper and I'm not a huge Desmond Stanley fan, but I just prefer Cooper investigating this and then being brought to Twin Peaks as a result.
Okay. I kind of like the film version.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? You prefer the Dale one, Caitlin?
Yeah, I do. It just kind of has more flow for Cooper.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the version in this book it's so straightforward and boring because it's just the facts because they're rushing to get through all the points they have to hit in the book. There's not a lot of there, so I guess I enjoy the film more. But I think you could even make a case if it hadn't been for the autopsy scene that Desmond Stanley had gone and investigated and then disappeared, and then Cooper came in. Except the fact they would have done the autopsy twice.
Yeah.
So, you can almost justify it in your head. Almost justified. The feel of leather against skin is a surprisingly sensual experience. So many images in brain right now, and none of them bad. Says Claire.
Oh yeah, Dad.
Yeah, so at one point he goes undercover to a gay bar and gets propositioned left and right.
Much to his amusement.
Sign of things to come.
Things to come.
Yeah, Sheriff Truman.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Let's work again.
It awakened something inside of him.
Yeah. Stirred his loins.
The Wyndham Caroline Cooper stuff goes on for a lot longer in the book than I always assume from the series. What? Particularly with Caroline being missing for months. I don't think it went on long at all.
How much time passed in the book? I know there weren't that many entries about it, but how much time was implied to have passed?
Oh, there was a fair amount of time, because she was missing for 6 months.
Yeah, I think that's what she's talking about, maybe.
Right. Wyndham Earl is 1,000 times scarier in this book than the cackling clown he was in the series.
Yeah, I had a hard time picturing him as the guy from the series. He just, in the book, he just seemed, I don't know, a lot less goofier to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, he was still pretty goofy.
Well, especially when he was being, like, Was he being hypnotized or whatever? Yeah.
And he's sending poems that don't rhyme and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of made sense. I will give him, he was somewhat creepier, but he still was not as awesome and villainous as he could have been.
Yeah.
My favorite line in the book is Dale signing off his last sleep deprivation entry with, "This is me, 10 sticks." I wish that had somehow come up in the series.
Yeah, even though the sleep deprivation thing only goes on for 2 days before he goes crazy, it's still probably my favorite part of the book. Just for the comedy.
Yeah.
But he's crazy after like 26 hours.
I know, I said despite...
But and when he went back and reread it, he said he only went crazy after 44 hours.
Weaker than we thought.
Yeah. Much weaker.
Alright, also, I really enjoyed this book. You're wrong. I think that Scott Frost does a great job in capturing Coop in the feel of the show. It's horrible. I awarded 8 gloved microphones out of 10. This is me, Claire Sticks, signing off.
Thanks, Claire Sticks. I would agree that he does get Cooper's tone down, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think he does a good job. But yeah, if you don't like Cooper, there's no helping anything.
Why don't you guys tell me your favorite parts of the book? Tell me the good things.
and then you'll judge us?
Well, I will, but I may not say it. But I probably will.
I like how when he first goes to the college, the first thing he does is skip orientation and go straight to the director and give him a whole bunch of suggestions for the curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
When he goes to New York City and he goes to Central Park, I think to do some sort of test. I can't really quite remember. But I remember he gets mugged, and then he gets kind of like he falls into a bunch of like protesters, and then gets arrested with all of them.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that's very Mr. Bean Cooper.
Yeah. We also find out he has a brother that we didn't hear anything about in the series, and we don't hear much about in the book either, because he runs from the draft to Canada.
Yes. It takes him so long to figure out. Does he ever figure out why he's in Canada?
Oh, he does. Like, Cooper's constantly judging draft dodgers in this book. There's like 2 or 3 times where he's like, I think it's terrible that he's avoiding the law.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
He's a coward.
Dale Cooper, fuck you! You can't make me like you less, can you?
And when he eventually made it up to Canada and was hoping to see his brother, he's in South America now. Oh, how did he not know?
That would be sad to not see your brother for over 20 years.
It probably didn't help things, Brad, that he was a Nixon fan.
Yeah.
Well, at first he changed his mind.
And then he changed his mind. I wonder though how much the fact that he was a Nixon fan was like owed to the fact that he went to a Quaker school.
Did he go to a Quaker school?
Yeah. Yep. It's a school run by Quakers, and Nixon was a Quaker.
I think he was best friends with Alex B. Keaton. I did get confused a few times in this book. Just the times when like I'm just trying to figure out like where in his life, what is he supposed to be doing right now? And like he does a stint at a mental hospital, and I was like, halfway into reading that, and I was like, why is he even in here? I don't understand why he's decided to work here when I think he was like just accepted to college or something. Or,
yeah. Well, he's fascinated by insanity, I think.
Yeah. So like just starts working there, and then he meets Betty. Who I don't know if they are implying that she was possessed by Bob or she was trying to get away from it.
It sounded like she was trying to get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cooper definitely jumped to the conclusion she was possessed by evil, which is a great position for someone that's treating mentally ill people to jump to.
Yeah.
At one point, Dale thinks he's cursed, and he seeks a healer. I like how he goes to the Catholics, and they offer him a newspaper subscription and guilt about his impure thoughts. The Protestants offer him a more expensive newspaper subscription. The Islamics won't talk to him because he's after seeing Christians, he's without hope, and then he sees a Sioux Indian who just laughs with him and makes him feel better. So, I think Dale is, he doesn't like organized religion at all, but he's very into the spirituality kind of thing, which I guess it's harmless, except when you no, what I was gonna say, qualifier, except when you assume that crazy people are possessed.
Just believe in reality instead. How about that?
Yeah.
How about we all just stick with reality?
How about when he's having sex with, was it Andy? And he's in the car.
You mean
No, Andy.
No, that was Lena.
Lena? And
When the car caught fire.
like it rolls into like a bullpen first or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Steve
I
Briggs.
don't think it ever caught fire. He smelled
Yeah.
gasoline.
She
Yeah,
had,
she had her clothes were soaked in gasoline.
yeah,
Right.
because she was crazy.
Yeah. She was a nurse.
It's just, let's pull over and have sex. Okay, now we're rolling off the road into a bullpen.
Oh well.
Oh, and he also goes back to check out the childhood gang that had stolen his bike. One of them has changed his life around after experiencing lots of prison rape, and other members were still in it, and he gets kidnapped, and then he punches out his first woman.
Yeah.
Not to be the last.
But he does say that he doesn't think it's very ethical to strike a woman.
Yeah.
Unless, she brings it upon herself.
He punched her right out of the book.
That's right.
Yep.
What were they doing there, though? The lady was like, he said she was like Latin American or something, and she was like jingling a bell
I
and
don't
like
know.
chanting,
They were probably
and then
high.
and then she was kicking him with her high-heeled gold shoes.
Speaking of ladies he's punched, Blackie's sister was in RoboCop 2, which I just watched last night. And so was Sheriff Cable. And Andrew Packard.
Telling you David Lynch loves RoboCop.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love RoboCop?
Well, of course, Albert's in RoboCop.
In the first one, yeah.
First one, yeah.
And,
Fair.
Well, so Leland.
Yes.
Um,
By the way, Swamp Thing is now on Netflix Instant Watch.
awesome.
If you want a Twin Peaks Carnival crossover.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of interesting that I found that the book and the Laura Palmer book and the Dale Cooper book were kind of parallel, sort of, like, from their puberty. Like, I kind of found the first part of this book really interesting, like his teen years, because it was kind of the books were mirroring each other, basically. I found a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you guys prefer? Did you guys prefer reading about him as a child or him in his days in the FBI and such?
I would say I was looking forward to the FBI part, but since I read it in an evening last week, as I was getting to the FBI part, I was growing tired of reading it. But it might just because I was growing tired of reading and thinking that I had a podcast the next day. But it ended up being a week away, so I could have taken more time with it. So I guess to say, yeah, I enjoyed the first part better, but it might not have been the author's fault.
No, it was.
Totally was. Well, I enjoyed the book.
I enjoyed it. I liked his younger years because he had some ridiculous adventures.
I know.
Mostly because he has no thought for consequence. And it was so bizarre because it sounded exactly just like he talked exactly the way he did as adult Cooper, but he was just tiny Cooper.
Yeah. With his, 67-foot extension cord or something? Or his recorder.
There's also a lot of points where it doesn't make sense that he's actually recording things live.
Yeah.
Like, it was like when the Laura Palmer diary, when she was writing in her diary in the middle of things.
Yeah.
It's just bad writing, because it does not make sense at all.
Yeah.
In the middle of a
This one's-
firefight, let me turn on my tape recorder.
Yeah.
This one is a bit different because someone has put together a compiled Cooper's memoir, sort of. So it's like a combination of letters, audio, and so in some cases someone has done a very good and detailed job. hypothetically, and in other cases, they just haven't put any effort into it. I don't know.
That's another thing. Like, who wrote this biography? Like, because it says it's an autobiography, so did Dale Cooper go around and get interviews? For what reason? He's not famous. He's a random FBI agent that hasn't done anything useful in his life. Who's this for?
He's also disappeared forever, so I don't know. There's like testimonials from people he knew, so yeah, I'd like to know who it's implying is compiling these.
Maybe it's a little bit of optimism for, the latter part of Twin Peaks and what was supposed to happen in season 3.
Maybe. I doubt they
Except that it stops.
This time.
It stops when he's en route to Twin Peaks. So you would think that this is coming out, this is being compiled before the Twin Peaks investigation. In which case, for what reason would anyone want to read this book?
You're thinking about it too literally, Brad.
Maybe it's a companion piece to like the story of the actual all the things that went down in Twin Peaks, and now people are like, well, I want to know more about this Cooper guy, So
Harry Truman compiled this book.
I'll remember you forever, Coop.
I think it's probably a good companion piece to the actual audio tapes that were released. That were recorded by.
Yeah, have you heard those, Robin?
Ages ago, I had them on tape, and it was like recordings. I think it was it all recordings from the show, or just
partially
Okay.
from the show, and then partially new ones.
I think it was like 3/4 of it was new. Because they got Kyle MacLachlan to record some new tapes.
I'll do audio tapes, but I won't do much of the movie.
This was back in the first season, I think, or something.
Yeah, I think so.
When he was still into it. Yeah, the audio tapes are pretty funny too. I seem to remember something about him.
He was in a plane.
Yeah.
And it was like a really like shaky plane ride, and he thought he wasn't gonna make it, and then they land, and then he gets outside, and he's like kissing the ground because he's so thankful.
Yes.
You can hear him.
Mwah,
Mwah. Oh. No, that's
Yes.
okay. I'm just thankful to be alive.
Yeah.
But he's all,
Yeah. It's pretty funny. You guys should take a listen if you can find them.
Yeah.
Can I read from the book
Yeah.
to hit a major point here?
Go ahead.
Sure.
July 30th, 2:30 p.m. Am at the Post and Beam restaurant on Route 487. Cannot describe the taste of warm cherry pie to a wet and weary traveler. Have also had my very first cup of coffee. And my second. My feet seem to tingle and are very agitated. I feel like running very fast while screaming like an Indian. I believe I will consider this my first experience.
Yes. That's what started it all.
We didn't talk about the origins of his love for the cherry pie, though. His grandma died and splashed cherry pie all over herself when she fell as she died. And so now he likes cherry pie?
Creepo kid.
But I liked how he was like, like all these women have died in my life, My mom, Marie, Carolyn. He never mentioned his grandma.
Yeah.
I felt really bad.
He was okay with that one. 'Cause
Yeah, he was okay
gave
with
him
that.
his love of pie.
That's right.
Who remembers Nana? I mean, really.
I mean, I just found her dead body covered in cherry pie when I was a child.
He probably
Why would I ever think about that?
he probably ate it off of her.
Oh.
There's a few situations where he got all cut up in the I don't know why. As I was reading this book, I just kept getting flashbacks of Forrest Gump, or just because of all the time, just because of the time period, and Marie reminded me of Jenny so much. How you'd always lose track of her, and she'd come back all different. But
As a different girl in this book.
but they'd always get back together or whatever, and there's the whole free love thing, and there's one point I think he ends up dancing naked with people, and
Sounds like Robert Zemeckis owes a little credit to Twin Peaks.
I think so. I don't know.
Sounds like somebody was inspired.
It's just the time period, I guess. It's
In the character.
in the character.
Yes, in the character.
Who's smarter, Forrest Gump or Dale Cooper?
One of them was independently wealthy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
One got taken over by an evil spirit.
Ooh, there's a fanfic. Can we do crossover?
Yeah.
Yes.
Forrest Gump meets Bob.
Oh.
Let me write that up. We'll do a special episode.
Yes. I guess we can be done if you guys got all your points out that you found significant.
All I have left are quotes.
Okay. You have some.
Or rather, entries.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. A lot of entries, yeah.
They are
like,
quotes because it's supposed to be spoken.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff here that we could talk about.
Okay.
But we could talk about it endlessly, you know.
We'll bring up some.
I'm
Oh.
tired of being a dark cloud. Anyone bring up anything? Lighten this.
I'm gonna try.
How about when Dale goes to DC and outshoots an FBI agent as a kid?
As a kid.
As a kid, yeah.
Yeah. Had he?
Yeah.
Has he ever even shot a gun before?
That's what I was wondering. Had he been implied to have even touched a gun before this? Autism.
Just one of those moments in the book you're reading, you're like, of course.
That was the whole book.
He's an idiot savant. I like this, he's accepted into the FBI. So during the summer he decides to go to the Poconos to like kind of mentally and physically prepare himself. And then he's like, "This, I want to read this entry. July 20th, 1 a.m. Spent the evening listening to a very bad Jewish comedian to toughen myself mentally for the tests ahead. Tomorrow we'll head into the wilderness with 2 matches, a knife, a length of string, and a paperclip. Is he MacGyver?"
Well, a bit more anti-Semitic MacGyver.
Alright, well, let's get into quotes then. Mel's got a quote.
I like these 2 quotes here. They're one after the other. May 3rd, 9 p.m. Diane, a hint from future outdoor adventures. Never camp next to a family from New Jersey in a large silver trailer. May 5th, 2 p.m. The Great Salt Lake. A large number of Mormons seem to be floating in formation just offshore.
Synchronized swimming Mormons.
It's terrifying.
You got quotes, Robin?
Brad will like this one. September 20th, 6 p.m. At 4:30 today, I found the following while walking home through Fairmount Park. A pair of sandals, the kind made out of old car tires, 3 used wooden matches, a small pile of burnt ashes and cigarette paper, a toothpick, several buttons from a shirt, an earring, several deep trenches dug into the ground, and the remains of a cheesesteak sandwich. After close examination of the scene, I do not believe foul play is involved, and that the following events explain what happened. A man and a woman, while sharing a steak sandwich, lost an earring. In looking for the earring, several buttons were lost from a shirt. The sandals were then misplaced as darkness fell, and the couple left the scene to find a flashlight, but were unable to retrace their steps. I still have not been able to explain the trenches in the ground.
What happened there, really?
What do you think?
He's the worst. He's just the worst.
Caitlin or Brad, you got quotes?
I have one.
Oh, Brad,
What?
come on!
One that didn't enrage you?
Yes, I went out of my way to find one. April 16th, 7 a.m. Mr. Baldini, the owner of the bakery downstairs, is taken to leaving a bear claw at my door every morning. Must remember to buy his wife a nice big sausage.
So I like Wyndham Earle's attempt at humor in one of his letters. This is February 2nd, 10 a.m. The June 1988, Wyndham Earle attempted an escape and was caught several days later. Cooper received another tape in the mail. It is time for the game to commence. I will move first. It will come when you least expect it in the worst possible time. Now, time for a riddle. If a plane crashes on the U.S.-Canadian border, which side did they bury the survivors? That's an easy one. Answer, neither side. You first have to kill them.
I think somebody got me with that one when I was a kid.
Yeah, I used to do that one all the time, except people never say neither. You can don't bury the survivors. Instead of Wyndham Earle, he says, neither. You have to first kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a creepy joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any more? I'm gonna read an entire entry for mine, so I'm gonna go last.
An entire
All I have is entire entries.
Yeah.
No, I mean I want to read a lot of people I think haven't read this before, so I just want to give them a large sample of what it's like. So I'm gonna read the entire sleep deprivation thing.
All right, I'll read one last one then. January 30th, 9:30 p.m. School library. Testosterone, a male hormone that is produced by the testes or male secondary sex characters, and is a crystalline hydroxysteroid ketone. Kedony? Anyway, this seems to be a very inadequate explanation for what happened to me last night in my room. I was watching Marie dancing in her room next door. When she took off her shirt, exposing her bra, I began to experience things in my groin area. This was interesting. I believe I'll spend a great deal of time investigating this in the future. Tomorrow I am taking the pledge to become a full tenderfoot scout. I wonder if any of this disqualifies me.
Yes, it does. I like how we made a bunch of Boy Scouts in the gay bar.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people haven't read this book before, so I'm just gonna read you my favorite part.
It's awesome.
A little reading here. So if you like this, if you think it's funny, it's probably worth it to pick up the book, even if we're criticizing it a lot.
No, it's not
Brad.
Brad.
I'm agreeing with a lot of what Brad says.
Yeah, me too.
I still had fun, but... Okay, so December 27th, 11 p.m. Have decided that as long as I am home with some free time, I will use this time wisely and undertake to test certain limitations within the human body that I find bothersome. The first is sleep. Roughly half of our life is spent in quiet solitude of slumber. Outside of the obvious benefits of dreams and physical rest, I find it to be unacceptable that the same benefits cannot be achieved without such commitment of time. That's why I thought you'd like it, Brad. I am therefore going to attempt to establish two things. First, the duration for which my body can function effectively without sleep, and second, the minimum amount of sleep required to sustain a high level of operation. Log entries will be made on the hour, beginning now. 12 a.m. Feel fine. Mental capacity functioning at high level. Motor ability suffering no impairment. 1 a.m. The most challenging problem I anticipate facing is cutting the flow of coffee into my system. The intake of stimulants of any kind would render the exercise useless, so I've decided to forego coffee for the sake of scientific accuracy. No greater sacrifice has ever been made before in the name of science. Should note that I feel fine and can shuffle one deck of cards in each hand with no loss of proficiency. 2 a.m. Strong and alert. 3 a.m. Whatever happened to Ronald Coleman? And what was the name of the fifth Marx brother? Feel strong. Mind functioning at high level. 4 a.m. God spelled backwards is dog. Believe the test pattern used in television is similar in its ability to clear the mind to a spinning Tibetan prayer wheel. Let me say that again. Believe the test pattern used in television is similar in its ability to clear the mind to a spinning Tibetan prayer wheel. Last hour, completed 50 push-ups in 60 seconds. Aside from slight heaviness in the eyelids, feel tip-top. 5 a.m. The first blue hints of sun are beginning to break on the western, make that eastern horizon. A barbershop quartet just sang the national anthem on the television. Had no difficulty singing along without forgetting any words. 6 a.m. Sunrise, all is well. 7 a.m. Feel stronger now that the sun is up. Am convinced that we do not need to spend as much time sleeping as we do. Also believe that peanut butter and bacon have been neglected as food groups, particularly when eaten together. 8 a.m. Am sitting behind the wheel of the family car. Have detected no loss of my driving skill.
Oh my god.
While it does seem that many of the people driving around me have suffered a loss of their driving skills. 9 a.m. The perfection of design that the modern donut represents has been overlooked by the academic world. One perfect circle of air-cushioned dough encircling another of empty space. Few achievements in this century have equaled this level of form, marrying function. It should also be noted that they taste damn good. 10 a.m. Feel alert, strong, and fit, and beginning to think that sleep is much overrated. 11 a.m. Suspected for a short time that there was a man hiding in my closet. Investigations turned up nothing. Believe he slipped out through the window when I was attempting several headstands. 12 p.m. Still no problems. Appears the voice I was hearing in the closet was not a voice at all, but echoes from my own chanting as I was doing headstands. 1 p.m. What did ever happen to Ronald Coleman? 2 p.m. Noticed the first detectable sign that my motor skills are deteriorating. Attempted to tie a bowline around a watermelon and hang it from the ceiling. Like, why? The knot slipped. The knot slipped, and the melon impaled itself on the bedpost. Am pleased to note, however, that there is no reduction in my mental capacity. Yeah, okay. 3 p.m. Note that sex drive does not appear to be affected by sleep. Penis firm and erect after only 17 seconds of viewing Miss December.
Mr. You almost said Mr. December.
That's Harry Truman. 4 p.m. Think I've made a terrible mistake going to college. Have decided to become a shepherd and spend my days tending to a flock of goats. This is after a day and a half, people. 5 p.m. I'm not sure, but have the strangest feeling that the last hour of my life was borrowed by someone in the animal husbandry business. 6 p.m. Darkness is falling. My mind and body feel strong and alert. I've checked all closets in the house to make sure that none of those little people are hiding in them. 7 p.m. Discovered a watermelon impaled on my bedpost. Dad says he's worried about me. I told him that all is fine, that Dale is just conducting a small experiment and that soon he would be done. 8 p.m. I never liked the name Dale. Always wish I'd been born an Apache named 10 Sticks. Why, I do not know. 9 p.m. Counted 83 stars in the skies before they began jumping around and hiding behind the moon. 3 more hours and I will have proven that sleep is not necessary to complete a balanced way of life as long as all the closet doors are locked. 10 p.m. Have drawn a self-portrait of myself. I find my use of line is assured and bold. My drawing touches the inner self that I am now only beginning to understand. 11 p.m. 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 bottles of beer. All is weal. Well, I do not like bugs with wings. December 29th, 12 a.m. Have now completed 48 hours without sleep. My mind is clear. I am now convinced that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone in Dallas. It is my belief that a man standing on the sidewalk of the grassy knoll holding an umbrella had a gun concealed in the device. It is also clear to me at this late hour that the death of Marilyn and that of the president were not unconnected. I find as I bring this experiment to a close that I am very much in command of my faculties and that the need for sleep is a much overrated assumption. This is me, 10 Sticks. December 30th, 3 p.m. Have just gone over my tapes of the previous days. The evidence would seem to speak for itself. I became a public health threat at about 44-hour mark of sleep deprivation. It should be noted that as I finally let go of the conscious world and drifted into sleep, the most extraordinary and vivid dreams I believe I have ever experienced flooded my subconscious. I do not seem to remember most of them, but when I awoke, the watermelon had been eaten and all the seeds placed inside my pillowcase. Dale Cooper is an insane, crazy person.
Yes.
Love it.
Without a doubt.
Wow. Okay. So if you like that kind of thing, you'll probably like that book. It'll make you laugh. It's funny.
Except for Brad.
Except it won't make Brad.
No.
All right, so let's rate it then. Robin, you want to go first?
Wait,
What?
did you guys find it believable when you met J. Edgar? J. Edgar likes pancake. Just a note.
And he encourages Cooper crawling through air vents to spy on girl sex education class.
I
Yes.
know. Alright, that's all I wanted to mention.
Okay, so you want me to rate it?
Sure.
I'm going to. Well, let's see. I enjoyed the first part of this book. Again, it could be the author. It could be me staying up late trying to cram through this book. But I am no 3-hour reader or speed reader in the least. But I did enjoy it as a kid. I did enjoy it as a teenager. So I'll have to give some credibility to that. And I'll just give it a 7 out of 10, just an average rating. 7 out of 10 autographs from Ephraim Zimbalist.
Mel, you looked up who that was, didn't you?
I did. He did the voice of Alfred in Batman, the animated series.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Dr. Octopus on the Spider-Man series.
Hmm.
But he was referring to a show called FBI or something?
The FBI story.
The FBI
No,
story?
the FBI story was the movie, and the FBI was the show based on the, like, loosely based on the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Wikipedia.
The password to go into his bedroom was Dark Passage at one point as well.
Oh, is that another TV show?
No, it's an awesome movie with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall.
Oh, okay.
Well, I liked it. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 mysterious soul-searching adventures.
That lasts months and we don't get to hear
Yeah.
about it.
It was either that or 8 out of 10 obviously crazy girlfriends.
Alright.
I would like to give it a 7.5 out of 10 small crystal pyramids for increasing the electric field while making love. Okay. Yeah, it was a lot of the stories. I think in the first half of the book were really enjoyable, and it gave a really interesting perspective for Cooper's early life. I feel at the very end it was a bit rushed, like they just scattered events all over it. But it was enjoyable reading it.
Kind of stole my rating, and I think Brad's too. And Brad's too, I think. I'm still going to use mine. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10 Pyramids of Sex Power. I thought it was way more fun to read than Laura's book, I thought. But it's probably not as important story-wise. Although I was still interested to learn about Dale Cooper, and it didn't infuriate me as much as Brad, but I can see where he's coming from. So, drum roll, what do you give it, Brad?
Alright, listen, here's the thing. If you want more wacky Dale Cooper antics, here's some more. But it's not good, it's not well written, it's often insufferable. They hit all the points they have to hit, and you get no new information whatsoever. Unlike the Laura Palmer book, which was actually, I think, really well done and added a lot to the story, this adds nothing at all. It's just more Dale Cooper being Dale Cooper. And if you want that, maybe you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
I hope you do.
It's a fun diversion. But...
Again, I did enjoy, adolescent Dale Cooper chasing women, and the antics that ensued. But for the most part, I just could not stand this. It was horrible. So I think I have to go 3 out of 10 hippie sex vans.
Hooray! Awesome. Alright, so we kind of ran the gamut of opinions here. I'd be really interested to know what other people, like the listeners who had read it, thought of it, but nobody...
Sorry, everyone. I'm sorry to be the dark cloud.
You're not sorry at all.
Never be sorry for your opinion.
No.
I'm not sorry for my opinion. I'm sorry that they're going to be upset.
Oh.
Well,
but I don't care.
Problem, I guess.
So I guess that's the end of it. Robin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I was really, after hearing your Laura Palmer review, I was really excited to read this again and get to talk to you guys one more time about the peaks.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to plug all your podcasts? Where can we find
again?
Well, just give some URLs.
Sure. HTTP.
Everyone knows that.
Okay. Fishercast.blogspot.com, topbunkpodcast.blogspot.com, which I just realized that my blogspot for Top Bunk has the same theme as your Twin Peaks blogspot, so I'll be changing that soon because you guys are obviously first with that, using that theme. That was a joke, but I really do have the same theme as you for some reason. Top Bunk takes place in the Red Room. And, of course, redemptioncast.blogspot.com.
Cool. All right, Brad?
If you don't hate me and you are willing to listen to me talk about anything else, you can listen to the Ramjack podcast. Our upcoming episode, that's out now, whenever, I will also be angry and talking about books. But we talk about other things that are happy and fun, so, check us out. Look us up, Ramjack podcast.
Man, I cannot wait to do this X-Files podcast with you. I'm so scared.
How are you going to survive? How are you going to survive, Brad? Are you going to let your suspension of disbelief go a little bit?
Wait till you meet Fox Mulder.
Oh, I know. I've seen a few episodes of X-Files.
Okay.
I'm going to be more angry at Scully than Mulder.
It's true.
For accepting
for putting up with him.
Yeah.
For being a lame skeptic.
A lame skeptic?
Yeah.
What makes her lame?
Well, anytime in, a film or something where you have someone that's the skeptic, but with, evidence actually being shown to them and they then don't believe things, that's just a bad, ridiculous straw man.
Yeah, I think she
had her own beliefs in the show. I think she was, a Catholic. And,
was she?
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So thanks, everyone, for listening. I think next time we're going to revisit the pilot and watch the European pilot. See those extra few minutes of footage and see how our opinions have changed since the first time we saw it.
If at all.
If at all, yes.
What else is left after that? You guys gonna examine Claire's tarot deck?
Maybe. Is that right after that? We'll probably do the retrospective, and
That's right.
Somebody wants us to review that psych episode that's a parody. And I've never.
That'll get me to watch it actually, because I've never watched Psych before.
Me neither. So it should be fun. I'll be all confused. 'Cause I think it's a season 5 episode of Psych. All right, so that's kind of what's up for the next little while. Send in feedback for those topics, and thanks for listening. So bye everyone. See ya. Bye. Thanks for listening. Check us out on twitter.com/TwinPeaksCast. Search for the Twin Peaks Podcast group on Facebook. And visit us on twinpeakspodcast.blogspot.com. Email your feedback to twinpeakspodcast@gmail.com.
Here's a tune for you guys. Okay. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.